So, okay, there we go. I'm so glad you're here today. I have the lovely Mary here. We're going to talk stuff soon. She's one of our fabulous artisans. But first, as always, what's happening? What's going on? What do you need to know about? Well, let's see. We've got on Saturday, the Standing Stones class will be happening. So come on into that. That's a free event. And let's see, what are we looking at for class? We're looking at chakras and the energetic body this week from them. And coming up, they'll be doing auras and shielding and energy manipulation, things along those lines. So it should be a fun January, February in their class. We still have the delightful Palmistry 101 class coming up. That is a by donation class, always fabulous. Chris loves sharing his extensive and in-depth knowledge about palmistry. So stop by for that one on the 26th at 4 o'clock if you can. That'd be lovely. And otherwise, it's going to be all of our usual live casts. Herbs 1, Herbs 2, Herbs 3, they're going on. If you're interested in taking the Herbal Series 1 next fall when it starts again in September, but you need to make a payment plan, come see us at the beginning of June and we'll get you set up for June, July, and August payments. Makes it much easier to do the whole thing. She knows.
Payments are amazing.
It's a fabulous way to live, I think. So, oh yes, and the Reiki share will be on the 26th at noon, that Sunday at noon, same day as Chris's palmistry class. So you could come, do a little Reiki share, go grab a little lunch, come back, take the lovely palmistry class, and really have an outstanding Sunday. Aphrodisiacs class to be announced. That's always fun. I'll remind you again about our fabulous readers. Today, Raven Wolf will be here from 3 to 6. Ooh, unless he's leaving a little, he might be leaving a little early today, actually, so for 3 for sure. Tomorrow, Thursday, we've got Tracy from noon to 6. Friday is Winter 1 to 5. Sunday is Raven Wolf noon to 2. Sunday's here for Tracy all day, noon to 6. Love that. Paul does dream interpretation on Tuesdays, starting at 2. And then Raven Wolf is at the beginning and the end, because he does Tuesdays from 3 to 6 again. So that's our fabulous readers. Come check them out. They're all $2.50 a minute plus tax, because that's the rate they've agreed to. We'll, of course, ask if you want to leave a tip. If it's totally up to you. Fabulous readers. Okay, that's what's happening. Yay. Stuff. We got stuff. I got a ton of stuff coming in. I will say we got a little book order, so I've got some fabulous decks and kits and books that came in. But more importantly, stuff. The good stuff. So we're gonna love the box. Isn't it gorgeous?
It is so pretty.
Love the cutout work on that. So that's just the lid, just to start. Oh, thank you. And then we have inside Chakra Gemstone Healing Set with a selenite plate to recharge the stones. So these are all natural stones. And yeah, you've got these gorgeous little pieces that you can take out, put on the charging plate if you need to, put other places. Love these guys. They're just so cute. I have a few of those. We also got in a whole bunch of backflow burners, and if you've not seen a backflow burner, what happens is you put the special backflow burner incense cone on the little spot where it goes, then it will create a cascading waterfall with the smoke. So instead of the smoke exclusively rising up, it actually comes down due to physics. Isn't that fun? Science, magic, which one is it? But we have several sets of this one. I like that. And then I also got in a bunch of pendulums. They're all cut this way, but they come with various stones. So this one that you are looking at is just a simple yellow aventurine. I think it shows up best against my sleeve. We also have, this will be the ruby feldspar, which will show up better against on the wall. I also got in. This one is the Vasonite, and I am fascinated by the Vasonite and want to know more about it than I do already, but should be a lot of fun to work with from what I can gather so far. And what's this one? This one is this scapolite, that's it. Just trying to figure out if it says scapolite or scapolite, but isn't that pretty? It's a pretty one. A little marble design. Love that. And probably the most requested thing I've had for the last month or so, singing bowls, affordable, reasonable singing bowls. So this is a 3-incher. Just give you an idea, a quick idea. I find the 3-inchers a little tougher to play, so if you're a beginner, I don't recommend this one. I recommend a slightly larger ball.
Mhm.
But at $25 for a machine bowl, this is a great bargain, I think.
Nice.
They do come with a little stand for you to put them on. You just tuck those little tails up inside the little donut portion, and then it's the perfect little stand for your singing bowl. So the little ones are blue, and then you get to pick the colors. They all came the same color, which is unusual. This is the 4-inch bowl. This is the one I would actually recommend if you are interested, but you've never had one. I just find these are easier to get to play without having to tap it. They do have a slightly deeper tone. See if I can get this one to go today. This is an awkward way to do this, but nope, it started. Just not sure I can keep it going because I can't hold it the way I want to. Nope. So just so you guys can hear a little bit.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a nice one. But I promise they're actually pretty easy to play. I just want to do it like down by my knees where you can't see anything. So I have the right leverage. But that is our fun stuff. That's our fun happenings. Those are our great readers. Now, on to Mary. The beautiful, the fabulous Mary. Now, you might remember some of Mary's artwork from these podcasts because prior to this show, you split the show with your friend Deborah.
Yes.
Wonderful show. There were several pieces that just people of your work
Oohed
people
and
were
ahhed.
just oohed and ahhed over, totally drawn to, including that beautiful piece that you had priced to not move with the hearts. That journey, the
Oh, yeah. That
journey
was a-
painting. That's a beautiful piece.
Yeah, thanks. That was a pretty personal piece. That's high price. So,
That's
yeah.
good. It was just gorgeous art, though. You and
Yeah,
Deborah are
thank
both fabulous artists. But you also have stuff here, so don't worry. You can still support a local artist and artisan. Why? Because we have Woodland Wonder Beard Oil
Oh, yes, the beard oil.
and Citrus Beard Oil.
So for gentlemen that have facial hair, most guys do. And ladies too. It's like to keep it conditioned and keep it smelling really good. So it's very nice. It's very lightly scented. And both of them smell just a little bit different than the other one. And so it's definitely something, especially for this cold weather that we're having. Smell good. Yeah, so that was something that I was asked to make up. So come and get some.
That citrus oil is great, I think, for morning. I would get one of each. If I were a guy with a beard, I'd wear the citrus one in the morning. That citrus scent is kind of waking me up,
Yeah.
perking me up. And then the Woodland Wonder scent, I totally wear that at night, date night, you name it. I
Yeah.
think that's fabulous.
Yes. Very good.
And they sell pretty steadily, I have to say, so they definitely have their fans. Not as many fans, however, as the fabulous salve you make,
Oh, yes, the happy hoo-ha sound.
which
Yes.
we will be getting more of very, very shortly, right?
Yes,
We're cleaned out.
yes, and so that's, because when I was driving over here, I was thinking about that. It's like we have so many, like preservatives and parabens and things that, we like lotions and all that stuff. And I just don't like that. I won't wear it. And so having something that is more natural is really important.
Especially given the latest released information about lead and
Oh.
arsenic. Being in places I wouldn't want to put lead or
Yeah.
arsenic ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing to me. The lack of safety, particularly over women's health products and
Right.
women's comfort products, is startling.
Yeah.
And frequently you pay a pink tax on those items on top of the bad research, and there's no pink tax from you.
No, there's not. There's no pay tax.
It's just an honest price.
Yes, exactly. So, and it's like anything, if there's a problem, it's like, just stop. Try it later. My friend, she said, I need another jar of that. And I'm like, oh my God. It's like, you used the first jar that fast? It's like, okay. She says, no, I've been putting it on my face. And I said, oh yeah, because I do the same thing. It's like, it's got jojoba oil in it, so it's really moisturizing. And use it as a moisturizer, and because it's super dry, and there's minimal beeswax, and I use tapioca starch to give it a more solid,
A little more body.
a little bit more body. Yeah, because even with using like coconut oil and shea butter, it doesn't get hard enough. But with that tapioca starch, it kind of fluffs it up a little bit and causes it to be a little bit more solid. And then it's not gonna hurt you. So,
That's beautiful. So yeah, the only way would be if you had an obscure allergy to something.
yeah,
So
and all the ingredients are on the
yeah,
jars.
you can always check the side of the jar and buy with confidence. I love
Yes.
that.
And you can ask Liz, who's the herbalist, the herbalist master. Is like, is there a problem with this? Should I not be using this?
Yeah.
This herb? Because those are things like if you're taking any medication, you should not be using certain things.
Yeah,
Blood thinners and stuff like that, it's like you have to really pay attention.
that's very true. There's a lot of herbs, almost like a tiny bit of blood thinner is a nutritional supplement for people as they age. That's how common it is in herbs that are generally used with adults and not with kids.
Yeah.
So it's sort of amazing. It's
Yes.
kind of like we're built to need a little help during the latter, like 1/3 to 1/2 of our lives to help with blood circulation issues.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated by that whole thing. But you also make, in addition to these personal care products, which are fabulous, wonderful, local, magical inks and powders. Can we talk about inks first?
Sure.
I gotta say, we sell some basic inks. You can come get your like manufactured Dove's Blood, Dragon's Blood, but not only do you make all of those, but she makes more. There's a bigger variety in what you make compared to what I can get from the national big supply companies. So I just want to show you this beautiful ink. This is the Dragon's Blood ink. They all come in these little cups. They all need to have the
Well,
light
shaking it helps put your intent into it.
Yeah.
And it's like everything kind of settles down into the bottom of the jar. So you have to kind of shake it up or get in there with a toothpick and stir it. And
But you're right, that gives you 30 seconds to focus on what you're using the ink for,
yeah,
empowering the ink, which I love.
yeah. So there's, I don't know how, I have to put my glasses on. How many different kinds of inks? Bat's blood for revenge and cursing and hexing spells. And we all know we need to do that thing. Butterfly's blood for writing spells and poems. Dove's blood for love, friendship, and prosperity. Dragon's blood for spell work, just in general.
Just get a little extra power, a little zhuzh.
Yeah, and owl's blood for when you need to see through the darkness. And then rabbit's blood for fertility and love spells. Ooh,
I love that.
with Valentine's Day coming up. And raven's blood for banishing, binding, protecting, and for making sigils. And, I've used them just for artwork. And it's like, that's putting your intention in, and they're all different colors. And they've just been really fun to make.
And not only do they all have different colors, but you've provided everybody a sample, so you can see, I don't know how well you can see the greenness of this one, but it's sort of a dark green and black sort of thing. So that's the bat's blood. I didn't bring everybody back here today. And then I've got the nice sort of pale,
That's kind of
reddish pink. It's a little harder to see, but let's see how close. Yeah, I can't see it. I can see it though. I will tell you now, I can see it. So it's a nice pale orangey for the dragon's blood. It's beautiful. And most of them have like a shimmer to them too.
Yeah, there's
right?
that kind of that magical shimmer to them. They're so cool.
They're
Metallic.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They're fun to work with. I know we've talked in the past about using you could even just use a Q-tip if you've got Q-tips at home.
Yeah.
You don't have to have anything fancy. You could definitely do it with a paintbrush. Anything else that you've done it with that you like?
With like some kind of a nib, like a pen nib, but don't put them into a fountain pen because they'll ruin your fountain pen. But you can use just like a dip pen to do that, or even a stick. I mean, it's like super simple, like if you're out in the woods, and anything that will cause it to write. Yeah.
I know that when I was a child, there was an eagle flying overhead, and I stared at that eagle, and then one single solitary feather helicoptered slowly down to land right at my feet, and that is what I have used as well.
Wow.
Absolutely gorgeous. Kind of feel like if nature gives me that kind of gift, I have to take care of it, which is what I've done basically. It's in my home. It's beautiful. It's lovely. The Inks are fabulous. I highly recommend them. That rabbit's blood ink for some love spells coming up. You could send somebody an invitation to dinner with
Yes.
that. Perhaps serve them some aphrodisiac foods with that. We'll have that class in early February, I promise.
And then the powders,
Yeah.
so the magical powders these are not to be inhaled and they're not to be used on your body, but they're for like amping up or adding to the intentions or the spell work that you're doing. And so they can be placed like around your candles, they can be placed on your altar, they can be blown through your door away from you. And it's like there's different ones for there's eggshell powder to be used. Here we go for Valentine's Day. Fertility spells and rituals. Protection powder for protection. Sigil powder for use in creating and empowering sigils. And I think the sigil person, who is that? Zarkov?
Mm-hmm.
Is she going to be at the Pagan Con?
I believe she's going to be at Paganiscon this year, yes.
Yeah. And then Four Thieves banishing powder for personal invisibility when doing spell work, or for like just in general.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I think we need to be invisible.
Yeah.
It's like I just don't want to be seen today.
Yeah.
Just make that intention and walk out your door. But yeah, those are pretty simple powders, and once again, there's no talc because people like talc causes cancer.
Mm-hmm.
So I purposely made them talc free.
Yeah, a lot of natural talc happens to also have asbestos.
Yeah.
And it has a lot to do with where and how the stone talc was formed, because that's all it is. It's a rock. Grind it up, it's a mineral. And talc is not great for you to begin with, but then a lot of it turns out contains asbestos, because that's just the natural state of it. So
it's amazing we're not all dead.
avoid the talc.
Because talcum powder, that was baby powder.
It was.
Oh my
It was
God.
baby powder for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But yeah, talc free is easy to do, and it makes it a great product. So I love adding these to sigil work, like you were mentioning, because if you were going to draw yourself a little protective sigil with your bed splitting, you could then enhance it with the powder, just by sprinkling it on top, and then shaking that so that you have the design with the powder embedded in it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a beautiful way to handle that. If I were going to do that kind of protection spell, gosh, what would I do what sigil would I draw for that? Do you have any thoughts?
No.
I could see drawing like the root chakra, take care of my basic power, my basics. I could see.
Well, when I do, it's like when you're saying drawing sigils, it's like I take and do sigil work with writing it out and taking out the vowels and making the sigil out of those words.
Oh, nice.
So it's either a name or a phrase, and you take out all the vowels, you take out all the duplicate consonants, and then you draw that. And I use like Post-it notes that go over the words, and then I just draw from those. It's kind of
you draw simple, like into one
into one line.
So you're overlapping all of the letters, all the consonants that you have left are not duplicates. That's a very good way to do that.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's.
Well, what's really funny is that I had come to Vegas when you were over in Dickeytown, and there was this young woman that was behind the counter. She's like, "Do you know how to do sigils?" And I'm like, "Oh, I haven't done those in a long time." And she goes, "That's super simple." And then she says, "Here it is, right here." And I was like, "Oh, that's cool."
Yeah.
So, just a simple lesson.
I love that. I've also seen that done with runes. For those of you who are into runes, they're called bind runes. And you're just going to overlap the runes that you want the symbolism of and make one single figure out of it. I almost wish I had something to write with so I could just show you guys. But pretty simple concept though.
Yeah.
Just get them all into one. Imagine they're all block letters. You printed them and get them all into one little block. And you're home free, you've got the sigil. I think that's a great way to do that.
Yeah. You can also do staves where they go down the line.
Mm-hmm.
And those are, put them by your door.
Yeah, those are beautiful too.
Put them in the bottom of your shoe.
Mm-hmm. And I want to also encourage people to combine. If you've done your protection magic sigil with your ink, with your powder, and you're like, okay, that helped, but I need a little more. grab your dragon's blood ink. Let's judge that power up. Let's just get that power a little bigger, a little brighter, a little more ferociously draconic.
Yes, yeah. Well, I think, making things multi-layered, it doesn't have to be difficult.
Right.
It can be super simple. And, as you layer things, it takes time. It's not going to be instantaneous.
Right.
It's like everything has to be right now. And sometimes it takes a month or two, a couple months, 6 months, and then you go, wow, I can't believe that happened. And you just go, oh my gosh, did I do that?
Yeah.
And it's like, the universe has a way of making things happen.
Yeah. Whether that's repeating the act again and again in like a little mini ritual, or whether it is, especially if you're doing something like a sigil, putting the sigil where you will see it every morning and every night so that you're just subconsciously reinforcing the magic twice a day it's pretty simple. But if you do want to layer on more meaning, there's nothing wrong with that either. We started talking about this in the magical techniques, little mini ones that we're doing on Tuesdays, by starting to talk about color. And I really honestly thought I could cover all the colors in 5 minutes.
No.
Barely touched on the colors in those 5 minutes, kind of more the intro. But that idea of, okay, I'm doing this magical working. I'm going to set up a little space where I'm going to keep that sigil I drew or however I use things, the candles I'm using. And I've chosen those candles with that color in mind, and maybe I've carved on them as well. I may have even dressed them in something. I'm going to light those every day for a little while I do the energy work of channeling the energy to the intent that I want. And you're like, okay, I need a little boost. Okay, let's add an altar cloth. Again, pick the right color. And it might be the right color is blue for health and healing, but you already have a blue candle. What you want is more power, so you go for that red of something like a dragon's blood color to give it more energy, or you're going to go for a white one for more healing power. Depends on your concept of the colors. And I'm going to say this too, and I said it on Tuesday for the little magical one. I don't care what I or anyone else tells you what color means. It means to you what it means to you. Because everybody else on the planet thinks it means the opposite of what you think it means, does not mean you should follow them. So go with the color, go with your gut, go with the colors that seem to evoke the right kind of feelings that you can lend into the energy working you're doing, the magical working that you're doing.
Well, it's like we have an intuition within ourselves.
Yes.
And we have to learn how to trust that, especially in the situation that we're in right now, in our world. And it's like we have to be able to rely on our intuition. And when we think that we should do, I'll say, a black candle, and we've read somewhere that, you shouldn't use a black candle because that's whatever, evil, spooky, that's the devil.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, it's like black is and I wear black all the time. And it's like,
good color.
It absorbs all colors. It's all colors that are enhanced with using that black candle. And so, who is that person to tell you that that's not what you should be doing?
Yeah.
And we have to learn how to trust our own intuition, trust our gut, because it's really important to be able to allow that to take place.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, I'll freely admit, if 15 people tell you you're crazy about something, you should probably have a little self-doubt. Check. Make sure you're not crazy. But for the most part, yeah, especially if it's magic you're doing for yourself, by yourself, or for anybody else for that matter, but you're the only person who's looking at the symbolism. Use symbolism that works for you. So if that means it's really important that you have a mala as part of the visual cues for this, because you feel that every time you look at the mala while you're doing energy work, it multiplies the power by the number of beads. Okay, I'm all for it. Go for it. There are absolutely Tibetan prayer wheels basically work that way. Every time you spin it, every time it rotates, you said the prayer once, even though it would take you far longer to say the prayer. So you can also think about empowering your work that way. So yeah, this is going to be a fun series of working with the colors and color magic on Tuesdays. Tune in for that, 11:15. It's only 5 minutes long, so check it out. But yeah, that idea of slowly layering on. I've done this little spell. I've done it every day for a week. I don't know if things are moving yet. I am not sure. That's okay. I'm going to get a flower today. and put it in a little vase and put it with the rest of the stuff that's about whatever this magic is for. You just layer on, or I'm going to start doing it during a particular hour of the day because it's convenient for me and I feel it fits the magic better. Do that. Now you can go get a book with tables of hours and what they mean all day long if you want. By all means use it. But if you're like, you know what, I wake up at 6:30 and I can spend 5 minutes on the magic at 6:35 because I'm going to get the sleep out of my eyes first. Thank you very much. Then that's the right hour for you to do it. You know, never.
Well, the universe has a way of like adjusting, right?
Yeah.
And you know, there's been discussions online about how we can't tell other people how to do things. And it's like, oh, all these rules and regulations coming from the different systems. And it's like, I was trained Gardnerian, and you know, and very eclectic trainings. And you know, my teachers have been very difficult and hard people. And it's been a process of figuring out what my spirituality or my place or what I do is. And you know, I draw from all different areas and all different things. And it's like, would my system work for you? I don't know, maybe not. Maybe it's like, would your system work for me or my system work for you? It's like we have to learn from each other.
Yeah.
And because there's a lot of information out there, and that old information has value.
It does.
As does the new information.
It really does.
And it's not a thing that's just like, I'm gonna be this person today. There's a lot of learning that takes place because heaven forbid we bring something into our home or into our life that does not belong there.
Yeah, there are things you just don't need. Yeah, I also have been trained in Gardnerianism in particular, and it's given me a way to value that historic perspective, even if I disagree with it, which sometimes I do.
Yeah.
But it also shows me that everybody's a human in a way that I think is tough for people to learn. We want to put people on pedestals. We want people to be perfect, and they're never going to be. And the more we are able to know about people, which has been accelerating a lot in the last few decades with the internet, the more we're going to have to accept, the younger I think we're going to have to accept that people are actually people. They're not. And hi, Tony. So I don't know what you guys think about it. I don't know how you guys feel about that idea of borrow from who it makes sense to borrow from in the context you're working in. As long as you're doing it with respect, you know, I don't necessarily think that I should go out and do a Hindu service somewhere in public because I'm not trained in that. I wouldn't know what I was doing, and it's not my heritage and all that jazz. If I want to explore that privately in my own magical workings and my own rituals, that's exploration of another culture. That's embracing people who might seem other or foreign in a way that I think can be very positive. I really think it's how you do it, how you approach it, and how you present it. I do British traditional Wicca. I do Gardnerianism. That's what I do. Love doing it. Very comfortable doing it. Very comfortable with people whose heritage doesn't match that. Doing it, that's not an issue. It's about respect, that kind of stuff. So,
well, it's doing the practice and practicing the spirituality in a good way, in a positive way, walking a good path, and learning how to do things that are not going to offend people. I mean, we're all learning, right? We're all human, and it's a process. And I mean, I'm concerned for a lot of us that with the current situation, that it's like, not that we have to go back in the broom closet, but it's kind of scary. And protecting, and it's like, we don't have to talk about everything that we're doing. It's nobody's business what we're doing and how we do it. And we have to really protect ourselves, and also being able to know who to go to when we need help. And you know, it's like, if we can't afford to figure out how to get cold medicine. It's like, okay, so what else can I use? And that's where the herbalism comes in.
Yeah.
And, well, you've studied longer than I have. It's like, you're like the master at it. But it's like, I've kind of dabbled in herbalism for, I don't know, like 40 years.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's a lot out there that we have access to that can help us. And it's important to know who to go to and how to ask and not be afraid to ask.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know, my philosophy when it comes to herbalism is even more liberal in some ways, because my attitude is, if it works, and my client is healthier and better for it, I don't really care where it popped up first in the world. It's about healing the person. It's not about, did I receive training in this one system of medicine from this one society on this one continent? No, probably not. It's a pretty big world. There's a lot of places.
Yeah.
I'm not going to have that opportunity to go there and get that training because there's only 5 people in the world who do it. I would have to go to them. Nothing wrong though with using that herb, especially if we give credence to where it came from and who discovered, who brought it out and made it multicultural. I always think of the French in Africa going, we don't know why our soldiers are dying. Excuse me, we're your allies here in Africa. We have this herb. This is what we give. No. We are French. We will solve our problem ourselves. The way we get that. We get that all the time. And yeah, you're right. It's deadly. And we use this herb. And then, no. I'm French. I will fix it myself. Excuse me. Okay, fine. Oh my gosh, it works. I have discovered a new herb. No, you have not.
Yeah.
Let's admit where it came from.
Right. Well, and that's just it. I mean, there's a lot of systems that we have access to. And Reiki is one of them.
Yeah.
As that's definitely a way to help deal with things in our lives. And it's like all those different things that we have available.
Yeah, all the different ways of focusing energy, whether it's coming from you or passing through you. There are systems that believe you're going to generate the energy from your body, if not every time, certain times, ritualistically, and times where it's intentional that you are merely a conduit for the energy. And the better a conduit you can be, the better the energy can be conducted, the more energy you can work with, and that's great, but it's not your energy, and that's a deliberate choice. And Reiki is one of those places, for example, whereas I can't say that about other traditions, religious and otherwise, that I've studied. Sometimes it's a mix, sometimes it all comes from you personally. This is one of the legends about witches fending off Hitler in the UK,
I saw that.
and them dropping like flies during the height of those workings. Those people would, because none of them were young to begin with, they weren't eligible for service, so they were definitely over 50. And some of them were quite elderly, so some of them passed away. Would they have passed away anyway? I don't know. But that's an instance where the legend is that they were drawing the power from themselves as well as the universe and whatever gods they believed in. So it's an interesting conundrum. But we're coming close to the end of our time. I think we should have a shopping word. I think it should be a phrase. I think it should be Mary makes cool stuff.
Oh my God. Jeez, so you tell the staff. Oh my Lord.
And I will leave a note. If you tell the staff, Mary makes cool stuff. That's the discount phrase of the week.
Can I do just a quick addendum, like a commercial?
Yeah, please.
So I'm putting up a portraits show on the 1st of February down in Mankato at the Coffee Hag. If you've never been to the Coffee Hag, you should go there because it's an amazing little coffee shop. It's been around in Mankato for a long time. And so there's like 15 portraits going up. And for some reason, a lot of them are vampire. It's Valentine's Day, right? So, that kind of vein of romance. The dark and the light side of romance.
I love that.
Yeah, it's kind of, they actually turn out kind of cool. And it's like, share a video or whatever when I get back.
Please, yeah.
So that's going to be in Mankato at the Coffee Hag.
So if you're going to Mankato
For the month of February.
Go see it.
Yeah.
Oh, I think it'll be wonderful. I might have to make a little road trip. Could be a fun little road trip to take the high schooler on.
Yeah, oh, definitely, it's Mankato is a great little town.
So we'll see. In the meantime, new art is coming in at the end of the month. As Liz Kilmer's show will be closing, so get ready for the next art opening. That will be fun, coming up in early February. We will also be having a book event in early February, aphrodisiacs class, full of recipes. You actually get recipes for every single herb suggested systems, if you will. Some of them take a few days to make, some you can make that night or the day before. Depends on what we're dealing with. Got one where you take a nice light white wine and you put the right herb in it. Ooh, mwah, chef's kiss. And of course, there's the herb that works in the bath. Oh, just saying. Put it in the bath. Put it in the bath. Okay. So that's it's about time for us to close up here because I have to ready to open. I hope to see you soon, but this is Liz and Mary signing off from Megas Books and Herbs and megasbooks.com. Do the subscribes, do the likes, do all the things. I will see